back to another session of GAN Current Affairs and News Analysis. Before we go to the session, I have an important announcement. Like I have told you in my yesterday's class, there is a Zoom session is ongoing and started today. You can get the same Zoom session today, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, that is Friday and Saturday. Here's Felix Joe sir, it's good in ethics answer writing. So it's a Zoom session and you can get the class in 10 a.m. So you can actually get the Zoom link from our Telegram channel Gallant IAS. So going on to today's topic, I'll be first dealing with yesterday's practice question. We have 3 on mains and then 3 on prelims and a practice question in mains. So moving on to yesterday's practice question, despite consistent experience of high growth, India still goes with the lowest indication of human development. So this question specifically deals with the key term of human development. So India is presently one of the largest economy, 5th largest economy, but our human development index is 132 out of 195 countries. We are below majority of the countries, even below the BRICS countries. Even India being a very big global power, India's human development, we rank poorly on health, education sectors as such. So what are the issues that make this issues that is created? Now there is jobless growth. As you know, there is a lot of lot of growth in the case of service sector, but the service sector is not a labor inclusive intensive sector, because of which there is a low growth, which means there is growth but there is joblessness. There is uneven growth because each sector has each growth difference, like agriculture ranks below, service sector ranks up. So there is a difference and uneven growth in each sector. Now caste system, we have scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, weaker section, they still face discrimination and such. Even giving reservations, many of them doesn't get the benefit required. Gender inequality, like women there is existing wage gaps, glass ceilings, there is stereotypes happening, and majority of women are held back because of like they have poor water, sanitation, hygiene facility, malnutrition as such. Then there is unequal distribution of wealth, the top 1% or top 10% own the majority of the wealth. Then there is unemployment as per NSSO. In the last, like India has the highest unemployment in the last 45 years. Now we have poor education and health, because the GDP we give into that, like combined together just 4.5% of GDP goes to health and education. Also there is existence of malnutrition. So what are the measures that can take? They can actually skillfully implement. A lot of schemes are there in India which are actually beneficial. So what is required is a proper implementation of the schemes that is already present in India. If there is proper implementation, if this properly addressing the population itself, then there is a huge boost and development that we can actually ensure from that, because India has a big demographic dividend now. Proper education, health facility, etc. could actually boost our India's economic development growth as such. So these are some of the measures that has been taken with along with it. So please go through the answer. I know it was a bit speed. Please go through it. I have given detail everything in the PDF. Now first, moving to the first topic, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change takes a U-turn in some of the decisions that I have actually taken. So in the last, they have actually taken decision to merge some of their offices, namely the Forest Survey of India, National Tiger Conservation, then there is Central Zoo Authority and Wildlife Crime Control Bureau. If all these comes under Ministry of Environment itself, they have each bodies, and these 4 have their own functions as such. The reason that the ministry claimed is that the ease of doing business, which means that the resource, it could actually lead to better resource allocation rather than being split in between all these 4 departments. So first we need to look at what are the functions of these 4 departments. So if we are looking into the Forest Survey of India, their main aim is to collect the forest data, study the forest survey reports, collect the data, research periodically. This is one of the tasks that is given to Forest Survey of India. If you are taking National Tiger Conservation Authority, their main function is to actually protect the tiger, implement the Project Tiger and such, to conserve the tiger, and so that is their important function. If you are considering Wildlife Crime Control Bureau, to collect and collate intelligence related to organized wild crime, like they have conducted majority of operations like beer then and such, so that the crime related to the animals, like if they are taking the animals cross border or such, if there is illegal trafficking, so illegal trafficking of the animals and such, so such would be actually addressed by the Wildlife Crime Control Bureau. Central Zoo Authority mainly looks into functions associated with the management taking decisions of the zoo as such. So, you see these 4 were actually clubbed together. These 4 has different functions as such. Now, here is where the problem starts, because all these has 4 different functions. There is a lot of issue in the administration, there is a lot of chaos going on just on the basis of just like reducing the asset locations or reducing the money required. All these are clubbed together, because of which there is an administrative issue coming. So, if you are looking in the National Conservation Tiger Authority NCTA alone, they can actually oppose a forest clearance based on, because if it's a tiger protected area, they can actually oppose that particular forest clearance. But now the National Tiger Conservation Authority comes under another body, which is under the Deputy Director General of Forest. He takes the decision now. The NTCA doesn't have any authority, or he can't take any decision related to the forest clearance, particularly in the case of tiger reserves as such. So, that actually goes away from the NTCA, and they state that this actually could lead to administrative chaos, confusion and loss of independence, especially for the bodies like this. Also, a petition actually was given to Karnataka HC that the Ministry of Environment actually replied that the notification does not amount to merger, but the intention was to actually get the various authorities to function together. So, hearing this from the Ministry of Environment, the Karnataka High Court actually rejected the petition. Now, what are the new moves? Because of which, because of all the functioning, this ministry has to withdraw this, and in the same notification also there are some other changes, like to reorganize existing regional offices. Now, like for example, the Bengaluru has a regional office, like the other states like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, Goa and Lakshadweep. Now, these 3 states and union territories will come under the main office of Bengaluru. And also, there is actually a merger of 2 projects, like we have the Project Tiger and the Project Elephant. These were started differently. But the problem here is that the Project Tiger is more important than the Project Elephant. We now see estimates in our newspapers like how many counts of tiger we have left, what is the increase in the tiger levels and such. We never see such case of analysis being done in the case of Project Elephants, and only Project Tiger is actually recognized in the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. The Project Elephant is not recognized. So, there is actually a lot of concerns regarding this new bill as well. Moving on to our second topic, we have a caste-based survey. So, first I will be telling you the background of this caste-based survey that is happening in Bihar now, and why we need actually a caste-based survey. So, the Supreme Court is here, a petition that has been filed in the Bihar Patna High Court. So, what is the background of it? Now, in January 7th, they actually started the caste-based survey. They started a survey. It was in 2 phases. The first phase was actually listing the housing. It went smoothly. They completed it within 4 to 5 days. But the problem started in the phase 2 survey when they started collecting data of caste-based surveys, subcaste and religions of the all other people. Now, this was actually taken to the court, but the court stated it was taken in the middle of the second phase when the survey was halted due to the stay order from High Court. Now, this High Court actually dismissed all these petitions and the survey is back on track. So, the survey is to actually estimate the socio-economic data for a population of 12.7 crore that is present in Bihar now. So, why actually do we need a caste-based survey? Now, in India since independence we never had a caste-based survey. Every 10 years, every decade we do a census, but this census doesn't have any caste-based survey at all. Now, because the government states that this socio-economic caste census is more hectic and it takes a lot of time, they need a lot of resources, so they don't take. But in 2011, the center has actually taken a caste-based survey, but they actually never released the report as well. So, as I told you, you might know if you learn polity, the Mandal Commission which recommended 27% reservation to about 52% of OBC back then. As I have told you, till 2011, no caste-based survey was ever taken place. So, how did the Mandal Commission came to know that 52% of the population is OBC? We don't have any actually proper reference or authentication to actually prove that 52% of the people in India were belonging to OBC back then, and this created a lot of problems too from the opposition party, and this still is going on now. So, the thing is that we need a caste-based survey so that we can actually get to know how many people are in OBC, SC, ST, so that the resources can be actually properly allocated by the government, so that many schemes are there addressing these category of population. But the problem is that we don't know how many people, like we don't have the correct data of how many people comes under this, because of which all these schemes majority doesn't benefit these people, because we like if it may be provided for about 10 crore people, but the actual may be about 15 to 16. So there is a problem of allocation of funds, resources and such. So because of which we actually need a caste based survey systems. So that is this topic. Then we have a very important scheme, that is the Vishwakarma scheme, which actually will aid 30 lakh artisan families. So first let's look into the Vishwakarma scheme. Now if you are looking here, this is a central sector scheme. Be important, the thing is you need to know the difference between a central sector scheme and a centrally sponsored scheme. In a case of central sector scheme, the 100% fund will be provided by the government, from the central government itself. But a centrally sponsored scheme is a 60 to 40 ratio in the case of states, where the central will provide 60%, the state has to provide 40%. This ratio actually changed in the case of Northeast and other states also. Now, there is a central sector scheme. This is support traditional artisans and other craft people. In my last class, I have given you an example of Kanchipuram saris, weavers who make that. Like, they have been practicing for a generation. They even actually got a GI tag in 2005-2006. But the problem is that there is a lot of artificial Kanchipuram saris coming out, and people actually prefer those to the original because they are more cheaper, and it can be like, it doesn't take 2 weeks to make this artificial saris as such. And also the younger generation who is actually practicing these crafts are not interested anymore to study this craft, because it is not yielding at all. There is no benefits coming out of it. So the present weavers are the last generations. So if you are going to address these issues as such, the government has to bring up some schemes that actually protect these traditional artisans and craftsmen. This Kanchipuram silks and all is not included, but there is actually 18 categories which are actually included as traditional traders. There is carpenters, board makers, goldsmith, blacksmith, potters, cobblers, sculptors as such. There is 18. Even toy makers, doll makers, barbers are included in this scheme. It actually focuses on 18 traditional artisans and craft person. Now a total financial outlay of 13,000 crores is given out of it, and there is 18 traditional traders, as I have told you. It will be actually credit support of 1 lakh rupees first tranche, then 2 lakhs on second tranche with a interest rate of 5%, which is a minimal interest rate. And also artisans and craftspeople will be provided with a recognition through PM Vishwakarma certification, and ID card will be also produced, will be given to this person. Now this scheme was launched or was there through, together with the Independence Day celebrations. Now as I have told you, it is a central sector scheme. This is valid for like 5 years. As I have told you, this is for 5 years, from financial year 24 to financial year 28, or 5 years. The scheme will be valid for 5 years. The aim is to actually strengthen and nurture the Guru Shiksha Parampara, like teacher student traditions of the family based practices of culture and traditions. So these can be actually practiced in the future again, and these won't be actually gone into extinct or such. The scheme also aims to improve the quality as well as the reach of products and services of artisans. Another problem is that if you are taking, especially in Kanchipuram saris and all, you have to actually go there and buy the stuff and come. They won't be actually exported or imported or such. So the problem is that we need a proper market system so that these goods will be purchased. So this scheme also aims to improve the quality and the market systems of these goods, these 18 sectors goods as such. Now moving on, these are some other schemes also, because Vishwakarma scheme mainly actually focus on traditional artisans and craftspersons. There is Vishwakarma scheme is not the only scheme. We have other schemes, like we have the PM Swanidhi street vendors Atmanirbhar program, which gives actually micro credit facilities to street vendors, including those involved in selling handicrafts and handlooms. We have the PM Kisan Saman Nidhi, offers direct income support to small and marginal farmers. We have the PM Employment Generation Program, which offers credit-linked subsidies for establishing handlooms and various other business and handicrafts as such. We have scheme for fund for regeneration of traditional industries, which focus on developing clusters of traditional industries, handicrafts, handlooms and such. Upgrading the silk, like Ustad scheme, upgrading the skills, training and traditional arts craft for development. Hunar Haat, it's actually a platform based for artisans and craftsmen. and GEM, Government E-Marketplace, is an online marketplace where which all these goods can be sold in the market. I know I am a bit speed in taking this portion, but this is actually out of context. So you can just read through it, might boost your exams or mains preparations also. If this schemes is asked in particular for prelims also, you might be able to answer and link with the Vishwakarma scheme that is given here. So just read through the PPT. Now another is electric buses for 169 cities. About 10,000 e-buses has been rolled out by the central government to 169 cities, which actually includes the state capitals and other cities which has a population greater than 3 lakh also. Now e-buses, they actually like zero emission buses. It also cost about 50,000 crore rupees, out of which about 20,000 crores will be provided by the government and the rest the state has to input. Now this support bus operations for about 10 years. This will be rolled out into, there is 2 segments. In the segment 1, 169 cities, 10,000 buses in 169 cities, and segment 2, 181 cities will have an infrastructure upgraded under the Green Urban Mobility Initiative. Also there will be increase in the new e-buses that is manufactured, and the infrastructure development and such, and also substations will be created under this. Focus on bus priority, infrastructure, multi-modal interchange facility, and also charging facility for this e-buses and electronic such. As I have told you, with a population of 3 lakh, the state will be responsible for running the buses, and the center will actually give subsidies related to it. Now because of all these developments, it may also provide a lot of employment opportunity for people around. About 45,000 to 55,000 people may get employment. So that is in the scheme. This is a very small portion to be covered. Now we have the second last topic, handbook on combating gender stereotypes. Now the thing is, in a Supreme Court hearing, the words that are usually actually called to refer a woman is that career woman, fallen woman, faithful, or she is an obedient wife, eve teasing, or these are some of the terms that are used to refer women in the case of Supreme Court hearings and such. So the Supreme Court wants to actually change this. They want to actually woman to be called a certain name. If it's woman, if it's wife, if it's an intersex, they want to be called in a certain name. So they came up with a 30-page handbook on combating gender stereotypes, because they want to, like in the judiciary and the legal community, they want to actually reduce the stereotyping of women as such, and thus to create more equitable society. So some of what are the key highlights of this. Now this handbook deals with the so-called inherent characteristics. So what are the inherent characteristics? Woman is actually considered irrational or over-emotional, or that they are illogical and they can't take proper decision as such. So these are one of the stereotype or inherent characteristics that has been used to define a woman. So the handbook actually points out that a person's gender does not determine or influence their capacity for rational thoughts. They also refer that a woman is actually judged in the basis of the dress code or dress that they wear. So because of this also, and also the sexual history of the woman taken into consider, these both actually brings a bias in judiciary. Such assumption may actually impact the judicial assessment, and they actually, like these key terms like the woman's character based on dress and the sexual history of the woman actually keep a bias on the Supreme Court. They may actually not they may not even consider sometimes the diminishing importance of consent in the case of sexual relationship. They might consider the sexual history of a woman or a dress they wear. So these are also some of the inherent characteristics has been pointed out by the handbooks and such. So there is a positive development in the case of Supreme Court, where they want to actually reduce the stereotyping of women and to actually establish an egalitarian society or such. That is about this topic. Then we have my last topic, Global Initiative on Digital Healthcare. Now this is started by India and WHO together, and they are going to launch it in the upcoming G20 summit at Gandhinagar, Gujarat. So the main aim is to actually create a digital ledger or digital platform where the data, there is convergence of data, there is interference in health platforms, and also investments can all come together and pool in, which means that when there was pandemic, it actually affected a lot because we didn't have proper information, we didn't know what to do. So to avoid future pandemic kind of situation, because with all these heat waves and global climate change, we can actually predict future pandemics or such. So to avoid such that there is a need for convergence of the health service, health convergence and data convergence as such. That is what the summit is working to bring, a crucial interim medical countermeasure to actually prevent any such future pandemics or such. The global digital platform would include an investment tracker and ask tracker, like, so that they could provide the people with what they need, the services can be provided correctly, and also a library of accessing digital platforms. This all is to actually aid the universal health coverage programs and systems. So, this is a very small, this is going to be launched along with the G20. This is a kind of the first program, this is the first such global initiative that is launched globally. So, that is what you need to know mainly about this global initiative on digital health. Now, for a practice question you have, what is the significance of providing support to the traditional artisans and craftsmen? Mention the challenges they face and state the steps that can be taken to address the issue. So, please work on this question and we will be discussing this tomorrow in the first class. You can get the PDF from our Telegram channel Gallant IAS. Thank you and have a nice day. We will see you again tomorrow.